Hello, everybody. My name's Milan Starcic. Welcome to Freedom Rising, a podcast dedicated to empowering individuals on the journey to personal growth, lasting serenity, and freedom from addiction. Tune in and join the movement. Your journey to freedom starts here. We neither represent, promote, or demote any 12-step program or organization. We are merely souls on the path of recovery with the desire to expand our lives and experiences and share them with you. Hello, everybody.
Hi, everyone.
Welcome to the 168th Recovery Freedom Rising podcast. I'm Milan Starcic with co-host Shannon B and Bryant W. We're back together again, folks.
Oh, yeah.
And today's topic is joyous and free. Two things I just love when they're together. Shannon, because I know that you were dying to tell everybody what this topic means to you and why you were happy to come and share on this today.
Thanks, my friend. Just dying to share about it. Yeah, I learned about that when I, came into the program, right? Like, what does joyous and free mean? And we always say like happy, joyous, and free. And I was like, there's just no way that goes with sobriety, in my opinion. I was like, happy, joyous, and free is as long as I'm not actually present in this realm or this reality, maybe. And I didn't believe that people really felt like joy in their life until I started like doing the work and having that complete psychic change and everything. And for me, it's like free from the bondage of self. So yes, free from, being dependent on alcohol, drugs, and anything that's going to get me out of me in an unhealthy way, but also being free of like that constant cycle. When I made that connection and that relationship with my higher power that I continue to nurture on a daily basis, I'm not trapped in my of what life is, right? Like my delusion of how things are, or oh, if only I had this, then I would be like this. If only this would change, then I would feel this way. I can enjoy life and accept life for life on accept life on life's terms and experience joy while being in it. Happy for me, like it can be fleeting, right? Like, oh, I feel happiness around this, but when it comes to joy, it's like a real genuine state of being that I feel. And yeah, I'm just so grateful to be where I'm at in my life today and be able to have like a design for living and a solution to live in where it's like not either anger, victim, or wanting to escape. Like anything I can do to get me as far away from myself as possible. Now I can be aligned with God and more authentic in me. Hopefully that makes sense, boys.
Wow, you're amazing,
Well,
Shannon. I certainly love
Milan,
you
I need
guys.
you around every day. If you could just every day I wake up, if you could tell me that'd be real
Okay,
good.
I literally will message you that every single day.
you did too.
Bryant, it's so nice to have you back with us. I mean, we held the fort down really well while you weren't here. Like we had some magic,
Yeah, the
but
poll looks amazing.
I love the magic of this triad. And if you wouldn't mind, could you say what this topic means for you and why you were ecstatic to join us this morning, doing cartwheels and push-ups?
Yeah, I didn't sleep last night. I was just fine tuning these questions and wondering how I could describe this topic. Um, Essentially,
Love
to
you.
be, I believe, similar to what Shannon just mentioned, that there was a previous response and idea about what life was and what had to be done in order to accomplish things which would then bring this idea of joy or freedom. And to be honest, I don't really think I ever understood what freedom actually was, and I wasn't free. And I think that that's what at the very end provoked the desperation they talk about, the willingness that came in, because I had, similar to also what Shannon said, like I had no idea what it was going to be, but I was like, anything's going to be better than this. Like I didn't even care if I was going to be joyous and free. I just didn't want to be the way I was anymore. Like it was that painful and consistently confusing. And then the other interesting thing is, and I think people may overlook the value of that constant disappointment, that constant self-betrayal, that neglect of well-being in this pursuit of this external thing. It is incredibly valuable information. So it seems like, oh, I can't get anything right, or like, what's wrong with me, or why can't I get this right? And the reality is, addict or not, alcoholic or not, this is a human tendency and a fact of life, is that the external has limits. It's never going to satiate that part of us that is identified with our previous concept of who we were. That's why it didn't work. But instead, like, it was very well taught to me that it's not, you're not unique in the sense that the outside isn't satisfying your inside, but you are unique in the sense that you're an alcoholic. And if you keep using alcohol as a solution to this thing that's never going to happen, which is the outside satiating the inside, your drinking is going to kill you because you're an alcoholic. So I had to like button those two things together, be honest with myself, and luckily this beautiful thing that we're talking about has been the byproduct of getting ahead of that horrible condition, and that is the accompaniment of some freedom and some joy.
Whew. Love that, buttoning them together. Woo.
I feel joyous and free just listening to
I
that.
know.
Yes, me on a Saturday morning.
Yes.
Love it.
That's amazing. Man, do I love you guys.
I was up all night.
I thought, I was like refining your diction. Like joyous and free. First of all, like I used to identify myself as a sensationalist. Like I
Yeah.
literally was in pursuit of wonderful sensations, and that either like, that's exactly like what you were just talking about, Brian, about the like external things bringing me that joy or happiness. And, like my version of free or freedom was to do whatever the fuck I wanted at any moment, right?
Yeah.
And that has just completely changed inside recovery, because what I didn't realize was that there was these strings attached. Like doing whatever I wanted meant that I was, pursuing a substance or pursuing a person, but there was no freedom in that, and and I think for me, one of the biggest kind of light bulb moments of this year was doing a podcast. I'm not sure if you were with us, but I was with Scotty doing it on discipline.
Ooh, I think I did.
And for me, what I realized was that, like I used to see commitment and discipline as something that took away moments
Yeah,
of
yeah.
freedom,
That's it.
and then, but that sort of repetition of action to either build character or build skills or whatever it is, ultimately sets you free with more options, with more enlightenment, with more strength, with whatever it is you're having the discipline or commitment to repeat and bring about a greater level of in your life. So it it just wasn't even on the table that peace and serenity were part of freedom.
Mm.
Like it just that didn't exist inside the crazy mind of addict Milan. Like the last thing I wanted was some silence. The last thing I
Sure.
wanted was to slow down. Like, man, I was like, sleeps for pussies, sleeps for when you're dead. Like, I literally, that, like, I should have had a shirt or a tattoo at one point that said that. And and the bags under my eyes that were like definitely showing it. But, it's not about being cheerful all the time, right? It's about being free from that bondage of self and resentment and fear,
Yeah.
really. And, it's like, it's like the gift from surrender, honesty, and connection. It means that we don't have to be obsessing in our brain in that exact same way as we used to, and because that was the biggest lack of freedom for me,
Yeah.
was that like I was just rolling on that hamster wheel more.
Yeah.
And that stole so much of my freedom and my time and quite frankly eliminated joy, because it was never enough. It was never
Yeah,
enough. I
exactly.
was never happy with that. And even when I had enough to kill myself, I wanted more.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like how absolutely insane is that?
Yeah.
So I think
It's
this is going to
perspective.
be a great episode. Um, Shannon, would you like to ask the first question?
Can I just say one thing very
Oh,
quickly?
I would like you to say 1.6 things.
In the time I've spent speaking with anyone on here, these are my favorite intro statements I've heard.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's a big thing. You've been on some doozies.
Yeah, but I feel like we just all in a very personal, but like we really put it in perspective. The shift in what we previously thought and what we kind of are now seeing.
I could agree that I feel like it was an excellent use of diction. But truthfully, like everybody used their words to convey what they were thinking
That's right.
in a very detailed and accurate format.
That's what I was trying to say.
Can,
Yeah.
can we just take 1 minute or 1 second for the appreciation of both myself and B's coffee mugs this morning? Like, I've got
Oh,
this Banff wildlife one. Like, I've spent any time in wildlife on purpose.
And all I have is this big blood red smoothie.
B's got an animal on it. So
yes, yes. And I'm crushing the old creatine in a nice glass vase.
Woo.
up all night.
Yeah, yeah.
Up all.
Raging.
That should be your next tattoo. Up all night thinking.
Yeah.
I got a cold one here myself, boys.
Right on.
Oh,
the,
The mystery mug.
I
the
have
mystery mug.
so much appreciation, and I feel such joy being on this podcast with both of you because I just feel
Mm.
like we fire on all cylinders together. So that's pretty awesome.
I feel that too. I love that.
I love what you both said. And Milan, I love when you said like it was never enough, right?
Mm.
Like I didn't even know what joy was prior to doing the work and being in this
Mm-hmm.
12-step program and like changing my life. All I ever chased was euphoria and elation,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Any moment where I could feel zero responsibility, any negative emotion, anything that didn't align with me being like, I'm all the way up, right? That was all that I was ever chasing.
Yeah.
And for me, like the freedom, like you said, was no responsibilities, doing whatever I wanted, no regard for others. But I wrapped that in my head to believe like I'm just a free spirit. I'm like a
Yeah, yeah.
rebel, you know. I'm like
Yeah.
Stevie Nicks of our modern age, you know, like all that.
Fleetwood
Apparently
Mac.
she did coke too. Oh, you know,
God.
the shoe fits. But you know
Piles.
what I mean? Like I felt like I was just like this free spirit. And really, and I've said on the podcast before, what it was irresponsible, inconsiderate, self-centered, reckless, you know, the list goes on. But the way we tell ourselves, it's totally
Oh, it's
something that it
wild.
really is. And I thought people that had routines or stuck to certain things, like, oh, I get up at this time, I work out, I da 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 da, were like so fenced in and like control freaks. I'm like, let it go, right? And now today, like the things I bucked for so long are the things that I am so grateful for because I feel more aligned and it's a more productive and like beautiful life that way. But it's just a shift in perception,
Yeah.
really, and level of commitment. So, yeah, just want to add
Well
that
put.
in.
Well put.
Okay. My question is, a characteristics of being free, right, is my ability to choose my attitude and respond to circumstances regardless of external factors. Like that is a real freedom in life. No matter how things are, how I show up to them frees me from that bondage of self and that negativity and that story, right? Like I don't need a situation to be a certain way or people to be a certain way to say I feel free or I feel joyful. So would you give me some examples or share some of your experience around that in recovery?
You're up, Bryant.
That's me. Okay.
Yep.
Um, Oh my gosh. So that's a really nice question. The initial reply that comes to mind is like that first chunk of time. Basically, I simplified my life to the extent that the man guiding me through the process was like, "All stop, my friend." He was like, "It's time to change your priorities, and if you don't get this right," he said, "you'll run out of all your options." He said, "But if you get this right, all the options in the world will open up to you." And I thought that was the coolest thing ever because it was the first time where I had like just been like, I'm not I'm not interacting with life, but I have to just completely change the approach. And so I literally went to work, went to meetings, and the odd like kind of social thing that was like very humble and safe. And it was essentially like a time and a season for me to like I even had just started a new career and he was like, "You're not looking for any work in that. You're staying here and we're getting through this work." And I was like, "Who is this man? And like who does he think he is? Like I have to get going. This is my career. I worked so hard to get here. I'm not going to just like not pursue this now." And he was basically saying very clearly, if you don't get this right, so in other words, if this isn't your priority and you make all these other things your priority, enjoy the pursuit of these things, but you're probably going to lose them because if you don't get this right, you're going to be kind of basically screwed. But if you get this right, you have the rest of your life to pursue and have these gifts come when they're, appropriate time for your process. And I finally listened and it felt so good to just stop and not keep making my outside world my focus. And I for the first time in my life, I had felt peace without goal oriented kind of like, like, oh, like you said in your intro, Shannon, like if only I could do this, or when I get that, or when they hire me for this, or when I move here. And it was like, no, like it was a complete shift. Like life is never going to be the same again. And I started understanding how important the process was and how incredibly important the psychic change and that internal shift would be. And then again, I think we've all noticed like your motivation completely changes once that starts happening. Like I didn't even feel the same gravity towards the career that I had just been trained in. Like things became less, my values changed, if that makes sense. So that was the first time I sort of had freedom from that kind of way of living. And it came in the very important message that was brought to me that if you get this right, you'll have the rest of your life to do all these other things. But if you don't get this right, you're screwed. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Could you repeat the question for me, Shannon? I got lost in Brian's answer there. That was amazing.
I was like, if he says I got lost in Brian's eyes there, I'm gonna be like, this is really taking a shift.
I don't
And
have enough detail. If I had a bigger screen, maybe, but
Abracadabra.
whew,
I don't even know if I answered your question, to be honest.
you did. You completely did.
Thank you.
I was referring to freedom being an internal state that isn't dependent on external factors. So, regardless of how someone acts, what situation you're in life, what's going on life's terms, you don't have to fall victim to the thinking we had before.
mm,
If
Yeah,
only
nice.
this, or I'm
yeah,
entitled to be this way because of X, Y, and
yeah.
Z.
So, what comes to mind to me is something that kind of just recently came up in reflection reflection about my life and about what's going on with myself is, like when I was living in that self will, right? I had one outcome, and that was like the believed possibility of happiness, and anything else was just a wellspring for resentments. Like it was like I had them already like when they talk about, expectations being premeditated resentments, I had
Yeah.
like 42 resentment plans already in place if
Yeah.
things weren't like this. And what that did though, that cut me off from the trillion billion million possible outcomes that were way better designed than what I thought. And all those trillion billion things, we're never going to give, like, we're never even remotely going to even have a chance. You know, like I was shooting down the things that could help me grow, that might lead me to peace, that might lead me to serenity, that might help me love more completely in my life, right? And and now, you know, like I can honestly say that the last 2 to 3 months have been the most joyous and free period in my entire life. You know, like I was at a meeting the other day and somebody was sharing about trying to get back to that joyous and free time in their childhood. I don't think I even had it then. You
Yeah.
know, like when I look back at my entire life, I had no tools for not blaming, expecting, resenting. I had no tools for that. And so from a very early age, I was having a pity party in my head for me. You know, like I lost my father young. It was like a crutch. Oh, like you know, like if only I had a dad, I would be able to do that or be like
Yeah.
them or whatever it was. Like I wasn't satisfied with right now, ever.
No,
And now it's like, you know, I have a really hard time answering when people were like, "How's your day?" I'm like a roller coaster of adventure most of the time. Like it just is like it's like, man, I can be having the most joyous and free morning, have a fucking half hour of resentments, 20 minutes of real close love, some like moment of hatred, and back to the joyous and free. Like it's all over the place. And it's rarely defined by just one thing. Whereas before, it was like bad thing in the morning. I'm riding that all day. Like I'm riding that like a pony to the fair. Like I was just like, I'm I'm
latched on.
I'm ready to put my feet down in resentment and
Yeah.
like, oh, everybody, pity party. I'm sending out invitations. Meet me on the phone in 5 minutes. You know, like, and it's not like that now. Like I'm having a pretty freaking mystical adventure right now. And it's consistently, you know, um it's consistently and profoundly brought about by my connection and you know like my connection with my higher power and the way that I am communicating with the universe as a big part of the start of my day right now. You know, like the whole two-way prayer thing, single most peace and serenity invoking part of my entire program.
Amazing.
And so I'll leave that there, but I was like, would like to add that I love you guys a lot, a lot.
Love you.
Yeah.
So
Great
you've got
question.
to answer that one, Shannon.
Sorry, I was just thinking about what you said about what it's like in a day. And I was like, oh, it's like so
Yeah.
true, right? Um, have you guys heard of that book, Let Them,
Yeah.
Oh.
that people have been talking about lately, right?
Oh,
Buzzing. It's basically let people be who they're going to be and accept that and don't let that shift how you are, pretty much in a nutshell.
yeah.
And I like when I heard of it, I haven't read the book, but I've heard some excerpts and stuff from it, and like that's completely like how we are taught to live. We can't control how other people are, but we can control how we respond, we react, how we show up in situations. And knowing that it lies in me, like I have the ability to change that. I have to ask for help for sure and guidance and things, but I don't have to let external factors dictate how I am on the inside. It's like an aha moment, right?
Mm.
But like for me, like any good addict, I think it has to get to like I'm on fire to make a
That
change
makes sense. That makes sense. It's
sometimes.
pretty funny, eh?
So many years of knowing this and like when I'm not in it being like, well, I don't have to let things get that bad, but
Oh,
it's just like my human nature to do that.
yeah.
And late, not this week, but like week prior or something, I was just like stuck in this, irritation, irritability. Like if this changed or that changed, then you know, or I need to be the one that like dictates how this is in order for me to feel the way that I feel I'm deserving to feel or things to
Yeah.
go in my way.
Yep.
And it was when I got to like exasperation, I was like, why am I trying to move a wall? Like, why do I think that how I feel is conditional on how other people act? Like, I don't need to play God in my life. Let this go. Like, it's taking up way too much energy and it's making me sick, not the other person. And then like feeding into that too. So yeah, it's just like a daily practice and everything, but like even something good can come, you guys. And if I'm not spiritually fit on that day and that hour when I'm thinking about it, I have a whole other like perspective on it, you
Yeah.
know?
Right.
Like
Oh,
something
yeah.
that could be like great. Oh, I
Hmm.
get to do this and be with this person. I can have in my mind that this is an inconvenience, a nuisance. It's gonna go this way. Don't you know how tired I am? Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this in my life. And I'm like, wow, like I've just sucked all the joy and anything good out of this and like made this into a negative experience. And
Yep.
also, if I truly didn't want to or couldn't do something, like I have the ability to say no. Nobody's holding me at gunpoint to
Yep.
do things in life. So it's like that type of freedom and the way that things come up and like, how can I be loving, compassionate, tolerant, and patient with people as, you know, I demand them to be really of me at times in life. Like I can do that. I just need to shift that thinking.
Nice.
So, yeah, it's been that and that like I get to do this rather than I have to. How
Well
to
said.
have a boundary without it being brutal.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like
It's hard.
You sounded just like my brain thinks right there. Like some of what you were saying, I was like, I am either like the opportunity for making solutions or everything's a fucking hassle. Like, you know, and I rarely have a middle ground of that. You know, like I'm either fit or I'm not fit, but I'm not usually kind of fit. You know? Yeah.
no, and if I'm unfit, I'll get into being fit. When I'm so unfit, I've inconvenienced myself, you
Okay.
know? Then it's like I'll start to make
Yeah.
the change. And yeah, thank you for saying that because I didn't think I was really making much sense this morning.
Totally.
No,
But
I was like, I'm like, was exactly like, she's talking about tired, jerk face Milan. Like, that's it. Like, the difference of me existing in solution or problem is literally fatigue is one of my biggest things, man.
Yeah. Yeah. You mentioned.
and like I just went back this week to myself too, of like that halt, hungry, angry, lonely, tired,
Yeah.
right? And I'm like, okay, so I'm tired, I'm irritable, I'm this. Oh, well, I'm also like not sleeping well, not eating this, you know, like I'm like these simple little things can be such a shift for
Oh
me.
gosh. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's
Mm.
still like, and those that are listening that have been in addiction can understand this. Like those things are not whatever like a priority for me using, right? So it's still like a learning
That makes
experience
sense.
to be like, I need to get up, eat breakfast, eat lunch, like not wait till I'm like so weak or so
Absolutely.
hangry to like do something about it. I know it seems weird, but it's like that stuff plays such a part on my mental health, sleep,
Yeah.
you know, like balance, all of it. So
Well said.
yeah, it's interesting how our minds work for sure, Milan. Like, you know, I can know something's coming up and be like, oh, that, you know, it'll be great. We're gonna cross that bridge when we come to it, you know, gonna stay in the positive. It shows up and I'm immediately
Yeah.
inconvenienced. How dare you? Not on my watch, not interested,
Yep.
you know.
No question.
I used to
Yeah.
think if I was like off, like say on a vacation or whatever, how dare this person text message me while I'm on vacation asking me about this? You know, I
Yeah.
can't even get 7 days of peace. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But 2 seconds before that, I'm on the beach in like a day bed, like living my best life, you know, in a virgin
Yeah.
cocktail, listening
Probably
to
texting someone.
music, oh shit, or on social media,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
trying to get a little like little boost, and then all of a sudden it's like a family member. Oh, here we go again.
Yeah,
No
yeah.
respect for like what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's called adults, you know. It's not like, oh hey, I'm leaving the country. Don't you dare communicate with me. If anything that doesn't make me feel great, praise me, or
No
you better
doubt.
be texting me that you're doing something for me that's gonna make my life easier. Don't even imply you need my help in any way. Because
Miss Dan, the honesty is spewing today.
it is.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, what a self-centered human being to be bothering me on a vacation. Meanwhile, Jesus. And
Yeah.
then the tape roll. This is exactly how it's always been. I'll fix it, you know, like, and the story gets insane.
You start realizing like it is insane.
It's absolutely insane.
That's why I'm so grateful, because step one isn't just for the substance. It's like,
No.
or step two or whatever, like return us to sanity. Like that's what we're talking about today.
Yeah.
Like
Well, have
freedom,
you ever had like
freedom is sanity.
a loved
Yeah.
one or whatever that you know you're like, oh yeah, I'll be able to help them with that situation. And then they ask for some sort of help and you're like, whoa, what I meant was on my terms, in my way, and
Not
more
right
from
now.
like
Yeah.
a lip service standpoint than like a when the rubber hits the road, you know? And if you want me to do something, like don't bother me on a Saturday while I'm driving around, you know, listening to
Yeah.
tunes because I'm busy. So
I
Yeah, no,
literally
crazy.
yesterday had a family member wanting me to do some things, and I was like, oh, I have cherry picked all my fucking service in my life. Like, you know, it's like
ooh,
true
that's
service is
big.
doing the shit that I don't want to do when they want it done
No
or
question.
need it done. And it was just like, I'm like, okay, you need something else from me then too? I'm like, today I am surrendering to real fucking service, shutting my mouth and being grateful for the opportunity for it.
That's amazing.
It's like it's ludicrous in the things you think. And you guys know, like being in relationships and stuff, it's like I'll come home and I'm like, ugh, stuff is everywhere, you know. When I lived on my own, this was never an issue, blah, 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 you know. And then I look around, I'm like, my purses, my this, my that, like shit that I've dropped off because I'm too busy to like put it away because I've got such a busy life and such a big career, you know. That's
I,
Yeah, yeah.
things I tell myself. Or, you know, it's like, oh, I want to be in a healthy, happy relationship. Then you have this, and then it's like you just hone in on the one inconvenience. Or
Oh yeah.
yeah.
like it's just wild. It could be like that with my family, anybody, my work. Like,
And those thoughts are the opposite of free.
Yeah.
yeah, but it's crazy how
Yeah.
you can just in a moment, it's like it shifts in your brain.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Okay, Mr. B Doubles, do you have a question for me?
I don't know which one I want to use.
Okay, so put it in a thing, spin it around, and put your hand in and draw it out.
Okay.
But
Pretend we're at a
ultimately,
bingo.
just do whatever you want. That's really
Oh,
what
here's
our
a fun
life's
one.
about.
Okay.
Ah, I like these. So, okay. What brings you joy now that you never imagined could have in the past?
Woo, what brings me? Okay.
I
Like
know it's a lot, but like just
no,
something to
no.
pick out.
Well, I know one that is like the most surprising: peace and serenity.
That
Like
brings
I
you
had
joy.
never ever was looking for that. I thought that I don't know that there like it was not it was like a waste of time to be doing nothing,
Yeah.
you know.
Good. Good
And
Lord.
and uh and now it's like I can be experiencing those things while doing something. That's
Definitely.
what I never understood before, was that that state of being can be amidst action. You know, like I can have that. That's a state of being, not a physical state of having to be.
Hmm.
You know, and that was massively surprising to me. And also, I would like to add petting my free horse.
Yes.
Like I really never thought I'd be a horse petting, horse snuggling kind of guy, but our free horse has won my heart over, and I go cheek to cheek with that pretty lady any day.
Dude, you need to write a memoir called Petting My Free Horse.
I think I should.
If you don't, I'm going to. That's the coolest name. Petting My Free Horse. Think
I,
about that.
Yeah. You know what though? It's like I'm telling you that like I can be coming home, there can be like all this stuff going on with work or my brain or somebody else and just like feeling like that borderline resentment building thing. And I'll look over and see her in the field. I'm like, oh, you need 5 minutes of horse therapy.
That's amazing.
And I get out there, I slow myself down enough for her to want to come. You know, like if I'm all agitated,
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
all agitated.
That's very real.
And
Yeah.
if I just start, can get my breath and be like, and then she's like, okay, we're doing that. And then it's like, we get up there and, man, I'm telling you, like, and then sure enough, like, this is the weird thing about the internet, okay? Like, I don't say horse therapy, but like I'm saying it right now, but I'm thinking horse therapy, and all of a sudden, all these ads for horse therapy start coming up on my phone.
That's terrifying.
Isn't that crazy? Anyway, yeah, so horse therapy, peace, and serenity.
That's beautiful. And horse therapy, by the way, is very real
Yeah.
and costs like $700 a day. So you get it for free, my bro.
I get the horse and the therapy for free. And we had a calf born in our property yesterday, so we got this little brown, it's called, his name is Red Moon.
What?
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Well, I
And
want to call him Brownsy, but they want to call him Red Moon.
I think that's a very cool name. That's another book. Um, Shannon, do you want the question?
Sure.
Okay. What brings Shannon joy now that you never imagined would have in the past?
Being present in the moment,
Oh,
fully
Lord.
present. Not stuck in my head.
Very nice.
Embracing responsibilities rather than running from them. That shift of I get to rather than I have to, you know?
Yeah,
And more than anything, it's staying in gratitude.
yeah. Mm,
That's been the biggest. Not what I'm lacking, but what I have, you know? And helping others, even though I just shared, previously that sometimes they can get in that sick thinking, but truly being able to be there for someone and genuinely mean it, or, to not make my life solely about me. What can I bring to the table rather than what are you going to serve me at mine?
Oof.
well said.
The end.
Yeah, no,
Damn.
perfect. These are very concise and nice. And like, I think what I'm hearing is the ingredients to our topic again. Um, like the lack thereof self-centeredness, the willingness to do uncomfortable things, enjoying like slowing down or like a moment with a horse. Like it's like why am I okay right now? I don't know. Like it's because I've been for a decade trying to not be the way I used to be.
But you also get to a point where you don't even care about why. You're just happy with that state of being.
Yeah, yeah. That's the answerless state is that's I think I'll throw a little Bible out there. Like they say, the peace that passes all understanding. Like that's what that is.
Mm-hmm.
Don't actually have a rational explanation for having peace, because we live in a way based on the way we were raised. Like by 3 years old, I knew I wasn't on the right track just based on the look my dad gave me. You know what I mean?
Ooh.
Like just looks up, look after look after look, like for
Yeah.
35 years. Like every time I looked at him, it was like, you're not doing this properly. Like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
that'll wear you thin, you know?
I had it from everybody else's dad and every other adult man. Like while I misbehaved,
Yeah.
it was the look of disdain, I would
Yes,
call it.
yes, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, disdain
Which
was
feels
my,
like rejection.
which feels like wrong. Like everything about me is wrong.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's wrong.
Yeah. So to answer it quickly, what brings me joy that I never imagined. Very similar stuff. It's like I don't need a bunch of stuff to look forward to feel like my life is meaningful. Like I used to always need like we're going here, we're doing that, we went on a trip, we're saving for this, and then we were invited to that, and look at how meaningful this is. It's like buck naked, y'all. I can have nothing going on and I actually find myself feeling okay. Like I don't need 16 people messaging me. I don't need anyone pursuing me. For the first time in my life, like I actually can confidently say that I am okay by myself.
Hmm.
And that's a perception thing, but it's also just a fact. And I've actually never had that before, especially before I got sober. I like chronically felt lonely and like very disconnected, you know, and like to know that that's not that storm is not inside my soul anymore is like incredibly powerful. I actually didn't think I'd ever feel
Yeah.
that. If I'm completely honest, like the value, I've tried to explain it to a few people recently. They're like, well, like what's going on? And I'm like, I honestly can't explain it. I just, somehow I'm okay. And I don't know how. I know it's because I've been practicing these principles for a long time, but it's like the letting go is so extreme. Like when we talk about the mind and the pursuit of like that self-centeredness or like what's coming my way that can make me feel like my life is, you know, of value. Like I have simplified my life to the point where I literally have like I can't explain it. So I never ever thought that I would feel that. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. But I had to lose everything in theory.
That's kind of one of the entrance fees.
Yeah, I had to lose everything and have my absolute world shattered to realize that that wasn't what made me okay.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I was driving home with my daughter yesterday from our waterfall adventure,
Yeah.
and we both came to the conclusion that I could be put on an island by myself, and I'd be just fine. Like
That's
I was
awesome.
like I would miss some people here and there, but like I can find joy all on my own and sustain like my own little thing. And I don't think I was like that when I was younger. It was a constant need for external validation and
Yes, exactly.
and sources of joy. Okay,
Yes.
Shannon, are you ready for a question?
Hmm.
Joyous and free is not a destination, but a daily practice of principles. What daily practices help you stay in this spiritual condition?
My connection with God is the
Oh,
biggest one.
well said.
If I'm living on my own self-induced insanity, really, then there is no joy or freedom, right? But from simple as when I wake up in the morning and, I connect with God right away and I say, I can't do today without you and I don't want to, right? And thank you for giving me another morning of, being sober. Little things like that too. It's more practices that I know if I don't do them, I'm going to be far more spiritually fit that day. Wake up in the morning, connect with God, prayer, meditation, right? Readings that I like to do to kind of set my mental tone for the day.
Yeah.
Whereas if I wake up and I'm immediately a little bit tired and I'm checking email or I'm social media or I'm this or whatnot, like it doesn't, it already gets in my mind. Basically, I need God to be in my mind before I am every morning. Really. Like, I need that connection with God before I'm even connecting with me because I'll start to set a tone for a day in a way that I don't want it to be. Yeah, not procrastinating. It's a tough one. Because if I get up, I handle my responsibilities. I feel happy about that. I plan of the day. Here's what I get to do rather than, ugh, I have to. And I don't do toxic behaviors to avoid handling responsibilities that then just make things worse when I think I'm making it better. Does that make sense, you guys? You know, when you have to do something and you're like, in an hour, I'm just going to do this first. And then you keep putting other things in front of it because you're avoiding that responsibility and it screws,
I've never done that.
screws up your day. That connecting with other people that are like-minded in recovery, living in solution, hopeful, being loving, limiting my expectations of other people,
Yeah, that's huge.
having a like nice moment in the morning, just me to get centered before, you know, I show up and cause harm to somebody because I'm in a self-centered self-thinking or absorbed thinking. Yeah, just those little simple things really change how the day's gonna go and how I'm gonna show up in it.
Very cool.
I love that. And Mr. Ice Storm, joyous and free is not a destination, but a daily practice of principles. What daily practices help you stay in this spiritual condition?
So what I've been doing, I'll just break it down into like, we call it that bondage of self. Other people call it liberation. And the method that I think works the best is being aware of yourself in a way. I think that's what they're calling the fourth dimension in the book. And it's that ability to view oneself while the thoughts and the emotions are in motion. And that gives you the ability to choose, which I previously didn't have, which meant I was fully identified with my thoughts and my feelings. Um, we've mentioned it many times, all of us in different ways, that commitment to our resentments, that disappointment, the disapproval, that requiring other people's approval. You just mentioned that, Milan, when you were young, and I was so like that. Like, I would go to other people's houses and be like, why isn't my family like this? Like, I want to be part of this family. Like, I feel more comfortable and happy here than in my own home. And it was like, no matter where I went, I wished that I was part of that, because I hated what I was a part of, because it made me feel horrible and scared and disconnected. And so, back to the question, it's like having the ability to observe when the pressure rises, whether that's like Shannon was talking about, the commitment, like, do I have to say yes to this? Like, no, I can say no without it being like this catastrophic event where it's like actually maybe in my best interest to like not push myself right now, or say yes to something I don't actually want to do because I don't want to disappoint these people. Like, I've just become the observer of these uprisings within myself. And then I feel like I'm making better choices, which leads to that feeling of peace and groundedness, because I'm being, literally, it says, to thine own self be true. So no one else is going to live our life. We want people to be in our life, but if my taking care of me offends you to the point where that you don't want to be in my life, then I have to accept that. Anyway, so it's that, like, not, I was so diligently worried about losing people or like not being loved, because in my family, if you don't do what other people want you to do, they remove love, they punish you. And so I have freed myself from the fear of punishment from others based on me taking care of myself, because for most of my life, I neglected certain parts of myself in order to keep the peace and or keep a connection. I actually just learned about this in school, and it's called what's it called? It's like a withdrawal thing from affection. Essentially, you choose not being authentic for connection, and we can learn it at a very young age. So like at like age 3, I might not speak up, or I might say yes to something that I don't actually want in order to keep connection, because that survival, like, you are whether it's your mom, your sibling, like you rely on that connection so deeply as a young person. Your social instinct is so strong. And we can see how it comes into our teenage years and into adulthood. Even at work, you're like maybe doing things. Anyway, I could go on and on and on, but it's this release and relief from that unhealthy lack of authenticity in trying to get connection and keep connection. Like Shannon just mentioned, the most important thing is connection with their higher power in the morning. And I completely agree. I think that's exactly what we're talking about here. It's that connection with the higher power, which gives you the security that you previously didn't have to stand in your authenticity, even at the risk of losing connection. And I literally couldn't do that before because it was too scary.
I love that. I would love to know that term if you think of it while we're out doing the podcast.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I explained it well. It's not
Because I
being
think I've
authentic.
had that in my life as well. You
Yeah,
know?
I'm sure a lot. I'm sure. And
I think everybody's had it to some degree. Like peer pressure incites it, if not
definitely, and
family
like
situations.
totally. And there's like coalitions, there's allegiances and families and groups of friends, like, oh, we're all doing this. Like, what do you mean you don't want to come? Like the family's like, we always do this, and you're like, I don't want to do this. Like I remember, and this is a disconnection from religion, not like anyway. So like when I was like 15 or something, I was like, I'm not coming to church on Sunday. Like I really didn't feel comfortable at the place my mom was taking me, and I was like, I will not be joining you anymore. And she was disappointed, but she said, okay, that's fine, that's your choice. But I remember when I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. I am not going here on Sundays anymore.
Yeah.
But it took a while to feel like I could say that, you know?
Well, yeah, because when you're a kid, you kind of are like, yeah, you're coming.
Mhm.
You know, like it sounds like you did it at the first available option.
Yeah, I'm off.
Like 15 is like, catch me if you can. And you could probably outrun both parents.
Yeah. But the main reason I stopped going to church is because I was like usually starting to get hungover every Sunday. So that's terrible.
Yeah.
All right.
Party over God. Party over God.
What about you?
Okay, so Joyous and Free is not a destination, but a daily practice of principles. What daily practices help me stay in this spiritual condition? So, I mean, I am a broken record on certain things, but I live a very Groundhog Day kind of thing. I try to get the amount of rest I need. And that involves seasonally shifting my entire program because I like to walk early because my family doesn't want me walking in the dark with bears.
Yeah.
They're like, no, you have to start walking later or you're gonna die. And it was only 10 feet from me last week. I think that I had me and that bear are tight. But anyway, I think that rest, exercise, and food are a massive first starting point for me. Like if I don't rest right, I'm not okay. And I'm really learning right now, for myself, how integral cardio is for my own sense of well-being. Like I don't do any weights or anything. I just been climbing some mountains recently, which has caused a dramatic drop, like 15 BPM for my resting heart rate has gone down in the last 2 weeks, which I never thought I was going to crack below 65 ever. Like I got it down to 59 the other day. And I feel like that in itself, like that lowered heart rate really helps me kind of stay in a more peaceful, serene setting. Like if my heart is beating, it's almost like it's like just kind of keeping me like agitated, you know? And then I start with gratitudes. Like before my walks, I do gratitudes. I do like some reading of a page from this book right now that I'm on. It's kind of like this trip around the sun with Emmett Fox, and then I do my two-way prayer. And that two-way prayer, man, is like for me, it is really like it is like the template to a better day. If I sit back and I'm like, pull myself in a position and I'm like, what is it? What is the question that I need the answer to most? And it really has been alternating between two topics and the two topics are how can I deepen my surrender
Yeah.
and how can I love more completely? And it's just like, honestly, all my problems are one of those two things right now. Like either I'm not loving completely or I'm not surrendering to the way that life is. But those two things seem to encompass all my discomfort these days.
Very
And
cool.
and listening for the answers and creating, like for an agnostic out there, whether it's coming from intuition or for the faithful, my higher power. Like I'm really not concerned about the source of the responses as long as they pass the honest, pure, unselfish, and loving test. Because if they pass those four absolutes, I'm going to be doing something right today.
Yeah.
Like those four things, honest, pure, unselfish, and loving, they're a pretty good sieve to run life through.
Yeah.
You,
Yeah.
you know, it's like the things that trickle past those four things, you don't have to worry about if you're hurting other people and you don't have to worry about what you've done. Like you're taking shame, guilt, and anxiety out of the picture right there. You know,
Very
um, Andrew came up with a really good acronym for fear.
what is it?
Future events already ruined.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa. I'm like, that is a really good one, you know?
Oh no.
And like, I thought it was a good one because for me, it really is kind of like that. And, that was a good one. Anyway, I think that's my answer to the question. Miss Shannon B,
Can
do
I
you?
share something very
Oh,
quickly?
yeah. It's
Yes.
1.8 things.
This is not even like I I I, I don't know if Shannon knows, but like you may know, like in very early June, I drove all the way from Ontario to Kelowna, and I had a very brief chat with Milan one day because the reception was like going in and out, and he knew I was coming that way, and we were gonna hope to like hang out. And I listened to one of your just the two of you's podcast, and I just had this flashback. I was present, I promise. I was listening, but I recall being like way up in northern Ontario and like in and out of pockets of reception listening to the two of you talk about recovery from addiction, and it was like so awesome. Like it was such a like warm moment, and I was like I got my cats with me, like I'm listening to the values and like the beautiful like changes in their lives, and it was a really powerful moment for me because I was like it was a really profound trip. I was basically coming to like get rid of my belongings. And so anyway, just thank you for being there for me during that time. Yeah.
Well,
I love
thanks
you.
so much.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel emotional.
Just feel so much gratitude for you both. And
Yeah.
like when you just said that, thank you. It brought me back to like how all of us met. And it's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
what a beautiful
It's
journey,
crazy.
you know?
Yeah. 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 It's really, really cool.
We had some amazing I had some amazing conversations with both of you in Options. I am so shout out to Options Treatment Center. Anybody out there still suffering? Don't fear the reaper. Go to the treatment center.
Yeah. That's true. It really is like, I'm feel so much gratitude for having worked there for that piece of my life.
It's a
Yeah.
magical place.
Yeah.
Future events already ruined. I need to put that in my phone.
Let's get
Yeah.
fear tattoos.
Yeah. On their toes.
Yeah, that's where you put them when you're not sure about them.
You walk all
Right?
over that fear.
Like, I'll put that on my toe.
On the bottom.
Is it
Got
a
it.
Shan quest?
A what?
Shannon question?
Yeah, it's a Shan
Oh,
quest.
Make
yeah,
that her
sorry.
name.
We just talked about so much great stuff. Um, okay, let me think how I want to put this. Okay, so Milan, I know you talk about like your horse therapy and everything, and that helping you be more centered and like you feel joy and everything. So share, either of you, whoever's going first, share,
Bryant is.
Brian, be money. Share
Be
with
money.
Damn.
share with us how, like, practices that you do that help you get out of that self-centered thinking and back into that joy and freedom. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm just taking it in. Oh Lord.
Oh Lord, run. You could tell I was at a rave last night.
Yeah, she'd be raving.
Up all night.
Shannon the Raven, put that in there.
Shannon the Raven. I'm getting a Raven tattoo now.
That would be sick. Definitely on the toe.
On my forehead.
Forehead. Okay. I take an inventory. Whoa. How many times have I done this? Is this really that important? Like, why haven't you done that yet? If you know you need to do that. I'm like a ninja now when things come up, whether it's like anything from like filling up the gas tank to folding laundry to doing taxes. Like if something's on me where someone can come knock on my door and be like, you haven't done this. I'm like, I'm getting this shit done. So nobody is knocking on my door. Like I want zero like static in my life. So of course there's things that are going to pile up. But I think just my ability to take action in the face of fear, whereas it used to like maybe create some delay in action. I think that now I really do like that. I really have always really loved the idea of like you take action and leave the result in God's hands or whatever something like that. Right. And the results, so now I really do believe that if I'm doing my best, if I'm living out of like the integrity that you mentioned in I think you mentioned 3 or 4 things for the two-way prayer, you're like, that's a sift. That's a beautiful sift to
Honest, pure, selfish, unselfish, and loving.
yeah, like so stuff like that. It's like if I can check that off in my head, I'm like, that's the best I can do, And so I've become better at not attaching myself to specific results. And being a little more gracious with myself, Gosh, like, oh my gosh. I mean, the amount of people in my life that have been like, you're really hard on yourself. And it's like, okay, I should listen to that. Like, that's feedback. That's important feedback. And I think we do need to hold ourselves accountable, but like within reason. So yeah, that's been a big change.
I love that.
Cute.
Could you repeat the question?
Sure.
I was lost in his eyes.
Oh, you guys are great. Milan, we gotta change your name because
I know. Well, I'm
I
waiting
got
for
a
somebody to
different-
give me one.
How about Red Moon today?
Okay, here we go.
I like it.
Oh.
Sorry, just my undiagnosed ADHD just for my brain.
You can refer to me as Mr. Moon
Yes.
or Big
okay.
Red.
Moonmaker. We're gonna ask you this. I'm gonna ask you this.
Yes.
When you find yourself getting trapped in self, right? And that takes you out of joy, being present, being in that freedom, how do you reset? How do you get yourself out of that?
Okay, so this is a really pertinent one for me in my life right now. And so my daughter's been coming to meetings with me. And so we're driving around a lot and we've been going on different adventures. But also with Michelle, the first thing I do now is I tell on myself.
Ooh,
Like I say, hey, you know what? This is happening for me right now. I'm not okay with this. This is not who I want to be. It's almost like a pre-amends to even before, like, and I'm like, and I say the struggle, like I'm really struggling to let this go, and this flat out just isn't who I want to be. Like I don't want to even be around this, let alone be this,
wow.
because I find it really hard for me to be in the presence of myself when I'm acting like that, you know? And and like even yesterday, like that whole service thing, like I was saying, it was like, I'm like, this isn't it, man. This is not it. Like I was doing like four other servicey things in the day, but this one was just inconvenient, you know? And I was like, real
Cherry
service,
picking your service. That's so cool.
real service is the inconvenient ones, you
Yes,
know,
sir.
like where you're actually sacrificing some time that you think you need control of to be for someone else.
Yeah.
You know, like it's the freedom to being directed, right? Like, you know, and
Oh,
so for me now, you know, I've actually really also just started to pray for guidance. You know, like if I'm having some thing where I'm seeing in myself, and I'm most of the time like, so I'll do the two-way prayer thing in the morning, but then usually my first walk in the morning is, well, there's bears there, but it's the bears, me, and my higher power. And on that walk, I'm praying out loud. I'm praying my gratitudes for everything that I'm going through, but I'm also generally seeking like a direct prayer for guidance and a gratitude for guidance in something I'm struggling with, because I am just like, I am absolutely trying to surrender my defects and shortcomings. No matter, like, man, I'm like, yeah, surrendering it. And then 5 minutes later, I'm grabbing it again. I'm like, maybe I got this one. Just
oh
like
yeah.
I'm like 5 minutes later, I'm like, but I could just like, I know you're busy with the universe. Just give me 5 minutes with my anger. And it just never works. So it's really, yeah, it's about connecting with my higher power, you know, like, when they say, like, you know, you hear the phrase all the time, God centered, you know, and really what that is like, that is like being right here right now, surrendered as fuck, like, you know. And uh and so learning how to keep that connection and doing that is a massive thing, like, and and honestly, something I'm working on every day. Like
Maybe.
I'm really enjoying the journey, and I'm feeling the results. Like I said, like, man, you could like replay this week, this month, whatever you want in the last bit. I am stoked, and that's all. I
Me
love
too.
you guys a lot.
Love
Me
you
too.
too. Wow, it's like a powerhouse. Wealth
Nuclear
of knowledge and stuff this morning. I like that. Yeah,
nuclear
to answer my question. Um, well, for one, I have to stop spinning and romancing things that actually at the root are entitlement.
no.
I read something recently that said when something rubs against you or you feel like this isn't it, right? That you need to reach for more, it's because you're living a life that doesn't align with your authentic blueprint.
Yeah.
And
That's
that is very beautiful to me, right? But it can also, in my mind, be told to me in a way that is truly just root entitlement.
yeah. Yeah, because yeah,
Does
I
that
think
make
it
sense?
can go both ways.
Exactly,
Yeah.
right? So it's very crucial for me to self-examine and
Yeah.
break down what is it like. Okay, someone told me before that if you look at a goal, if you're like, my goal is this, we can, as addicts, and I'll speak for all of us because we have similar mentalities in this, we can just think of that's what I need, it needs to show up now, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't look at what are the steps, like backtrack that, right? What do I need to do first? What do I need to do second? What is the plan, right?
Yeah.
In order to achieve that. It's just, I need to get to that end result immediately.
Yes.
And there's nothing I have in my life that I've ever had true, real appreciation for that I haven't had to do some work to get, you know?
Yeah.
You got that
Like
right.
if somebody would have showed up with a bag of money that was like, Shan, we got you, financial worries are off your plate when I was in addiction. It would be, I'll do this, this, and this, to look like a
Detrimental.
generous person, but then I'm going to be on like a yacht in the south of France, really in behavior that should be in a $15 an hour motel. You know what I mean? Like, but that's the
That's a
truth.
good deal.
So that in being rigorously honest, like what you said, outing yourself, right? Is true. Like saying, hey, you said this, but this is what I heard. Can you clarify for me? Right?
Sure.
Because I'll tell myself a different story than what was really just said to me. So it's that, and also understanding, okay, if this is what I'm really searching for and wanting in life, why am I not taking the steps to make that happen? It's a self-sabotage in a way so that I can stay in a victim mentality, even though I don't want to be in it. And I don't realize that at the time. I
No
want to
question.
shift things, or I want my business to do better. Why am I avoiding doing the things that will actually create the next step for that to happen? By telling myself, oh, I'm too busy doing these other things, or if I didn't have this commitment, I wouldn't have time for that. But really, it's just how I'm choosing to spend my time. And like, I don't know if that makes sense, you guys, but it's
Oh, it
like a
does.
self-sabotage that keeps you from getting to where you want to be. Because
Exactly.
it hasn't been dropped into my lap, right?
Most of us don't believe we deserve success deep down inside.
And when I hear that, like it's like, ugh, I've always believed I was destined for better things. And like, it's just,
It's a tough one,
it's all coming. But really it's, well, why do I do things that keep me from getting there? Right. So
Well,
it's
yes.
that kind of stuff really that, I
Oh
have to
gosh.
self-examine.
We also live in a time where like people are obsessed with this word manifesting
I
and
hate
like
that word.
we clearly create our world and certain things that happen, but like it is on a level of arrogance, like where people think they can just like doodle in a book and focus on something and it'll show up the next day. Literally, there's YouTube videos. It's like manifest $1 million this year. It's like, what? Like,
Oh, you don't have this because you don't truly believe that this
yeah,
is
yeah.
destined
Yeah, and
destined
I
for
think
you.
there's like ultimately some truth to the. But anyway, that's what came to mind when you said that
Yeah.
because I
Also,
also think. Go ahead.
oh no, go ahead.
Just the idea of like taking accountability for the process. Um, there's some things in this world that you literally can't have unless you work for them. Like you might. Okay, another really interesting thing is I don't know if you guys can relate to this. Is like most of the most beautiful things in your life you don't pay for. Like these relationships that we have right now, the faces on this screen, no money was required. Well, maybe in some weird
Well,
way.
like we had to pay for options,
I was
okay?
just
Like
about to
you,
say
and you
that.
were getting paid
Yeah.
to be there, so there was a lot of money that exchanged hands for
You
us
know what
to
I
see.
mean? We've chosen to be here right now.
I would say that you guys are the most precious gems in the universe to me right now.
Well, what you just said, like that's a perfect example. Okay. So when I was stripped of my identity,
Yeah.
literally, which was,
Yeah.
now I've got to get that new commitment to recovery, get sober again. And now I have stripped myself of the career that really was my identity and the financial freedom that came with that, which was
Sure.
not freedom at all.
Sure.
So when I look at it, it was like all I was doing was blowing money or trying to buy or do things or wrap myself in a false reality of what would actually make me feel happy inside. And it never
Yeah.
did. But what that did provide for me was the ability to go and get help. So
Which is amazing.
that was the payoff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then having to rebuild and start again, if I hadn't have been humbled to that point, I would never have had a re-examination of what what is actually a necessity here versus what am I just doing to try and fill a void? Like
Yeah.
excessive shopping and then being like, oh, there's clothes everywhere, blah, blah. Like I didn't play a part in it, you know? And now it's like I don't attach myself to those things. Yes, I like nice things and stuff like that. We all do,
Oh,
right?
that's okay.
But it's not like for a boost because it was never enough. Like, oh, more,
Yeah.
like what's going to scratch that itch?
Different motivation.
And now today, the things that bring me the most joy and that I feel so like serene and full from, I didn't put money down to get,
Yeah.
right? Like you just said. And
It's
also
like that
too,
too.
making
Yeah.
sure that I'm extending to others what they are so graciously extending to me.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm getting better at it, but I have had it's been a work in progress for me with being on time for things. Okay. Because I stall with like it's a self-sabotage again, right? Like before I would think as long as I was within 15 minutes, that was on time.
You
Apparently
dirty
it's not. So when I know I have to be like at something for like a flight at six, like leave the house at 6 a.m. for a flight or something, right? Like I'm like, okay, I don't need to get up at 5:15, shower, get ready, and still pack, and then get out the door.
Oh my
You
God.
know, like I had such an insane relationship with time. Like I
Right.
always thought I would be able to get it done in such a short period of time. And then I'm so stressed out, and everything, it's my own fault. So by now, you know, making the steps to not live like that, it's been really free. But as somebody who was chronically late in their life and so much compassion and acceptance and tolerance that people around me showed,
Yeah.
I need to give that to others.
Wow.
You know, like I just had a laugh recently about it with Ryan. I'm like, you know, people are so patient in my life for me, like running a little bit behind of my own doing, you know. But the minute somebody keeps me even a minute over, I'm like, this is such a nuisance. Like, let's go. Because the one time out of 360, I was on time, you know? And I have to remember that, like with others. Why do I hold people to standards I wasn't holding myself to? Time to get that shit in check. Just
Yeah.
an example. But I'm very honest in my life. I'm honest when I share. I don't go up there and quote the book. Yes, I'll spit solution, but I tell people, here's my struggles. On this podcast, we're very honest. I'm sitting up here, but everything's great. No character defects. Doesn't live here, you know, doesn't track for me. Like being like, hey, doesn't matter what the work I do, I still have shit I got constantly trying to get a whole handle on, and I can't
Oh
without
yeah.
God.
Well said.
I love that.
Is it
It is time for you to ask a question.
it's perfect timing because the question is, if there's something in the way of your freedom now, if you're willing to share, what would that be? What are you willing to do to get there?
Okay, repeat that one more time.
Is there, or if there is something in the way of your freedom right now, what would that be, or is that? And what are you willing to do to get there?
Well, I mean, you know, gosh, I think one of the biggest things that's in the way still for me is intolerance and lack of acceptance of others, of who they are in their own perfect self right now.
Yeah.
You know, like I would like to say it's different, but I keep finding myself with expectations. And so,
Yep.
you know, one of the things is for sure, like I am seeking answers to that in my two-way prayer. And one of the things that has come up for me is to try and like, if I'm starting to feel defective and shortcoming in that way towards somebody, is try to think of three awesome things about them right away. Like to undo the like condemning them, judging them, thinking them. And another thing that's come up is to try and tell people of their amazingness. Like be vocal about it, you know?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's like because I swear, like you call someone a shithead and all of a sudden they look like a shithead. You call them a diamond and all of a sudden they're shining and you need to put shades on. You know, like it's you like you don't like the word manifestation, but here it is, man. It's you manifest people into being what you treat them like,
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
true.
And so I'm really, really trying to get the freedom, like to move to that freedom love and appreciate others for where they are. You know, taking that love and making it more complete in that way. And for me, that's a real work in progress that I'm, you know, like with the Harry God box. Like the Harry God box is definitely something that helps me with that. Like having
That's
that
so
on my
cool.
kitchen table is just like, it's like, okay, here it comes. Whoa, let that thought go. Let that shit go. Judging, because I'm not free when I'm trapped in like that.
Thank you for that reminder to start filling Harry's box again.
Man, yeah, you know, and then I'm gonna burn it. I don't know how I've stuffed so many into it's like a 5-dimensional box because I swear to God, there's a million resentments already in there.
That's awesome.
Gone.
Well said.
Yeah.
Shannon, is there something in the way of your freedom now? What is that, or what would that be, and what are you willing to do to get there?
Yes, there's always the same thing in the way of anything that's beneficial, good, or evokes change in my life. And it's me. I am in the way
Lord,
of those
Shannon
things.
is in the way. Good Lord.
Truly, my perspective, my thinking, how I show up, the work I do on myself, my mood, all of it, always in the way.
Well said.
I challenge myself, and it's hard sometimes. Say you're gonna email work related or message or something, right? Irks me at all. Like, and it's not even the words, it's how I have interpreted the tone in which that person has said it or what
Yep.
I think it truly means, right?
Yep.
My initial, when I'm not spiritually fed, thought is, I'm not the one, not on my watch. You know, I'm going to correct this
Yeah.
immediately. Spiral like snowballs into a situation that wasn't even there that I made into a situation, and now I've got to course correct that and make the amends. If I wait to respond rather than react, if I did what Milan just told me, let me think of 3 great qualities about this person, or hey, B, this isn't actually a criticism, it's just a question.
Yeah.
And I wait to respond. Things are going to go smoothly. I have to remind myself, was I not the one that got the ball rolling?
Sure.
Sometimes it's really not what you say, it's how you say it.
Oh Lord.
Ooh, Lordy.
Show some grace, show some tolerance.
Well
Or
said.
Milan, you and I always talk about that, like tolerance of others, you know, compassion, patience, understanding. That's a big one.
Very well said.
I love that.
Yeah.
And Mr. B Money,
Yes. Oh yes.
you must ask yourself. You must ask yourself this, Bryant.
Um, I have I still fall into a bit of what's it called when you say something to yourself?
Negative self-talk.
No, it's more of like I've kind of convinced myself that I may have missed the boat on certain things that I really wanted to have happen in my life. And so
Regrets.
nope. More like I was hoping certain things would be part of my life now that aren't. An example would be being a father. Like, I feel like I'm still in fear of well, maybe like, oh, like a, what's it called? Like a dialogue, like a, anyway, like, I'm going to swear. Why the fuck is this happening to me?
Hmm.
Like after all that I tried to do and how lucky I felt to have certain things come into my life, and like now I'm like I might not even be able to have a family, like something like that, like negative self-talk or whatever is it's like it's a story that isn't true. I mean, it could be true. So I'm letting the evidence tell me that I like, in other words, am I actually accepting of my circumstances or am I resisting? So there's still a little resistance within me with my circumstances. So it's not full acceptance. So that's getting in the way of my freedom. That was very honest. Fear manifesting in what if this doesn't happen, and or this probably kind of I thought would have or should have happened. Those same things. And it's so easy to talk about before, like when I thought my life was a certain way and it was going to go a certain way, I was like, oh yeah, like those expectations, like I'm getting so much better at that. But the truth is, like, the deeper you go into life and the more things unfold, like I'm very grateful. I've had people recently tell me I'm lucky, and I'm like, are you sure? Like, because I'm like, I'm like, I don't know about that, right? And I think the key is to not want to trade places with someone else. But I will say, there's some aspects of things that I see, say, a lot of my friends at my age experiencing, and I'm like, am I going to get to experience this? Like, stuff like that. So but it's not like taking over. It's just it happens from time to time, and it does get in the way of freedom. For me, yeah.
I love that.
And what am I willing to do to get there? Just keep doing what I did in the first day of my sobriety. I turned my will and my life over, and I was pleasantly surprised in a lot of ways. And I'm just going through my transition right now, and I hope to be pleasantly surprised again.
Thanks for sharing that. I know my experience, it's like if you had a plan of how you thought your life was going to be, or just these are the next steps and how it should be according to
Yeah.
society or my age or
Yeah, exactly.
where I'm at in life. But often I didn't ask myself, are those things I actually want? Because if I'm just looking at the payoff and not what it's actually going to require, like, is that even going to align with what I want? Right? It's so easy to get into that, like, oh, is this ever going to happen for me? Or like, what is God's plan? And if it does or it doesn't, what is that going to look like? And am I going to be good with it?
It's scary.
Chances are I am.
Right.
But
Right.
we don't. And like what you said earlier, Milan, about cherry picking, sometimes I can get in this morbid reflection of wanting to cherry pick certain aspects of my life at different times to form it together into what is really a life that lacks responsibility and really is based around entitlement. And it's like that, like, I want to live an authentic self, and I am, but then I'm like, well, why isn't this here? Or why isn't that? Or, oh, if only I could go back to this time and hadn't have done that. It's like, but I needed to do all those things to get to where I am now.
Yeah. Good point. And you can see the wisdom after usually, but it's during it, the fog can seem a little thick.
Yeah. And that radical acceptance it's hard.
Yes, ma'am.
And like those four absolutes, like there's no kind of honest, there's no kind of pure, there's no kind of unselfish, and there's no kind of loving. Like either they are or they aren't. And those are things that, like, the reason they call them absolutes, because there is no kind of lying, there is no partially pure, like there is no slightly selfish, like like
Yeah,
it's just our rationalization creates those gradients.
And have you ever like things are like going good, or you're in a good mindset, and then somebody shares something like what we just did, and you're like, oh yeah, I can understand what that must be like. It doesn't apply to me, like I don't live that way.
Thank God that's not my life. Yeah.
Meanwhile, yesterday I was like them times 10, like it's so quick how I can get separated from that. Like, oh, well, don't ever forget what it was like, what drinking was like, play the tape through and all that. And then it like 2 seconds, if I'm not right with self and right with God, that goes away. And I only remember the good. No or question. It will be different this time,
Will be different this time.
May I also add, this is probably completely unnecessary, but
it's necessary.
Earlier when I said like I have this feeling inside me, like this is an improvement. This isn't a perfection thing. Like I'm just like grateful that I'm not freaking out. It's not like I have perfect peace. I just have a feeling inside me that I'm very grateful for, because I didn't know I'd be able to have this right now. You know what I mean? But it's not without pressure and fear and hard days. I mean, you know what I mean?
I didn't take it as you making a proclamation for perfect peace.
No, and I know because we're so similar, right? It's like
Yeah.
the laurels. I can't rest on the laurels just because I'm living in a
Oh,
peaceful bubble right now doesn't mean that's my new state of mind. Like it's
Yeah.
permanent. It's like I'm always paying the dues to
yeah,
try to
yeah.
get there.
You know what's hilarious? I said rest on my laurels to some classmates the other day, and they were like, "What did you just say?" And I like tried to explain it, and I think I had it fairly close to right, but they were like, "I have never heard somebody say that before."
You're like, the reason you have it is because you're not as elevated and as intelligent as I am. That's
Yeah,
really
I
what
was
it
like,
comes down to.
you
I'll
have
teach
some
you my
studying to
ways.
do. Yeah, yeah.
I know people don't understand some of this stuff that like we have to be, this is our talk, like how we have to
Our
roll.
lingo.
Yeah. Nice.
Okay, I've got another question. Has everybody got time for another question?
Yeah, I'm good for another one.
Okay, so
One more
Shannon,
question.
or should I say Shannon, the Raven Princess of Perfection, freedom is the gift of no longer
warrior
being
princess.
ruled by obsession and compulsion. What does freedom from self-obsession look like for you now?
No clue. I'll let you know.
That's awesome.
I'll let you know when I get there. No, I just heard self-obsession and compulsion, and it's like people would hear the words obsession and compulsion and be like, "Ooh, that's not good." For me, I'm like, "Yeah, sign me
Yeah.
up." I want more. Um, literally, God's will, not my will, right? My will leads to self-obsession, and how does this serve me? It's that quick change in thinking when anything happens and I don't immediately go, how does this affect me? Is this going to benefit me or is this going to inconvenience me? Right? If those are my first thoughts, that I know I'm in self right away, rather than just like, oh, okay, what can I do to, like what can I bring to this rather than what can I get out of it? That gets me out of the self-obsession. Working with others, being of service, doing things without an ego boost attached to them, not a tit for tat. If I do this for you, then I'll be keeping, a mental check scorecard here
Yeah.
to lord over, right? Away from that is away from self-obsession.
Yeah.
Also, the less I think of me, the more I think of others is a better place for me to be, better state of mind.
Yep.
And like compulsion is just, what am I trying to control here? I'm trying to change the narrative or shape shift this into being the way I want things to be.
Yeah.
No. Like it says in 12 and 12 too, right? Like anything that we're freely given in life, I can't just see the gratitude in that. Sometimes it's like, I gotta get it up here, oh,
Yeah.
if this is good, how can I make it great
No doubt. Yeah.
according to me?
Yeah.
And it's like it's freaking exhausting,
Oh,
and
God.
it's never enough.
Whew, so
And it's
exhausting.
like, what is the point of all of this? Like what is what kind of life do I really want to have?
That's a great question.
Is it going to be based on external factors? Because if it is, I'm going to be chasing that stuff until I'm, 8 feet under, or however, 6 feet under, whatever that expression
You're
is,
going 8 feet, folks.
right? And it's like I remember these two lessons that were taught to me, and it really is like what I have to remind myself. My mom always says, "You've never seen a U-Haul follow a hearse at a funeral."
I like that.
That's really awesome. Yeah.
And she's like, "Shan, you can't take it with you. Like, it's not like when you're on your deathbed and you're ready to leave the world, you know, everybody's packing up all these things you bought or invested money in, and you're taking it with you. Like
Yep.
that cannot be what truly is what you're working for in life. And
Mhm.
also hearing, you'll never hear somebody on their deathbed with their family going, I wish I worked more and spent less time with them.
Yep.
Boom. That is the most truthful statement in the world.
Also, what like the biggest challenge for me is, what does success look like? Because for me, it was one answer before. Where am I at in my career? How much money do I have?
Yep.
The end. No further discussion. Next
Yeah.
slide, you know?
Yeah.
Because that's what I define success by. How many things am I getting accomplished in a day? Am I running ragged? You know, those TV shows you see with like lawyers that are boom, 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 like everything's being done for them in their personal life because they're working like, 25 hours in a 24-hour day. That is how I used to roll. Like that is I am here.
Yep.
When that was taken away from me and I had to make that change in my life, in a day, if I did 1 to 2 things, or there were things that were more like, hey, I got to a meeting, I met with,
Sure.
somebody, a friend I spent time with, I went to
Yeah.
boxing. That's the day. I
Yeah.
had like that was so hard for me because
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would look at people that weren't workaholics, that weren't psychotic like I was, and be like, you're lazy. Like, what are you really even getting out of life?
Okay.
Like, I didn't see value in things that weren't attached to profit or
Yep.
elevating me in status. And
Wow.
now today, such a different mindset. And I love it. Being successful to me is being a loving, caring, nurturing human being that walks in grace and extends that to others. I want people to remember me for the impact I made on their life, as in the type of person I was, not what I did for them.
No question.
Woo! That last couple sentences was pure fire, Miss Shannon.
I want to be part of a beautiful, loving reality, not having a stacked resume.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And she's got the name.
It's the
Mr.
fire, I thought I was
Mr.
back at the show.
Mr. Perfect Peace. Freedom is the gift of no longer being ruled by obsession and compulsion. What does freedom from self-obsession look like for you now?
Uh, um, the biggest change, um, I thought I had this like um, blueprint that was so reasonable, like so reasonable for how I wanted other people to show up in my life, like the love, like the thoughtfulness. Um, I should not say this. No, I'm not going to say it on recording.
Yeah, say it.
I know I can't, just in case. Um,
Say it.
just little things like usually with friends and family, but I'm also incredibly pleasantly surprised now. And it's probably because I've stopped having the expectations, but like growing up and then in my early adult life, which is a funny thing to say, I just turned 40 and I feel like I'm talking like I'm like way older. But anyway,
That happens when you get 40, you suddenly are skyrocketed into like
yeah,
a different
when I
mindset.
was a young man, yeah. So
Like
anyway,
like when I was 40, like at 40, I am blah blah blah. Like I was,
yeah, yeah,
like a pillar of wisdom.
yeah. But this thing about uh what I thought other people could or should do in my life to show me that they cared about me. I have let that go on. It's become a magnificent help in feeling more connected to God and to what like a wholer version of myself. Like I don't know why that was such a big deal. Like I think we've kind of graced it a few of us in different ways in this chat today. Is like how how could you not know that that was important to me? Like, how could you not check in to ask me if I was okay? Like, I just lost my career. Like, you know what I mean? Like, why are you making this event in my life about you? And it's like, that's what people do. Like, there aren't that many people that are doing two-way prayer and filtering their life into 4 principles every day to find out, are they loving more purely? Like, no, they're not. And like the patterns remain, you know. I was a dagger was thrown at me about a month ago from a sibling, like, oh, you think you're better than people because of this AA stuff. And I was like, what? I was like, it was probably the most like, I don't know, like it was the opposite of that in my opinion. Like I basically admitted I was completely fucked and like tried to make right what I thought I had made wrong. Like I never ever went about it in a way to kind of like suggest that I had been like pedestalized above anyone. I thought it was the other way around. But from that person's perspective, who suffers from alcoholism, they thought that I was speaking with superiority of some kind. And it was like, I don't know, like it just goes to show how easily we can be viewed in a way that isn't actually true in other people's eyes. So I have to stay out of that. Like if I tried to defend that or like prove something or like it's so I just don't do that anymore. I'm just like, okay, you know.
Thank you for sharing that because I've had similar experience, you know, with like loved ones that, oh, it's all about this or that, right? Like I remember saying to an ex years ago something and him going, get off the cross, we need the wood back, you know, like you think you're
Oh
on this spiritual hilltop, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, he was also suffering from alcoholism. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So it's like, but that in that moment, like I could have really personalized that and got upset, but it was like, your opinion of me and that really has nothing to do with me.
yep,
And that has been a big freedom. Like what someone thinks about me really is none of my business. And I remember hearing
yeah.
that at my first treatment center thinking, yeah, it is. You know, it is because if somebody says anything that doesn't align with my view of myself, I'll be course correcting that right quick, you know?
Yeah, or like standing up for yourself. Like I find it
Exactly.
difficult.
No, 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 no. Like, let me tell you what's this way. But really, how somebody else perceives me doesn't matter. My loved ones, yes, you know, and how I
It's
show up
tougher
in
with
those
that. Yeah,
relationships for sure. But
yeah,
really, I'm in this with me and God. I gotta get it right so that when I meet my maker, that's aligned.
yeah. To me, that's a massive shift and a huge opportunity to feel more freedom,
Yes.
to no longer get tangled up in that. Yeah.
Man, that was whew, some great answers there, guys. So, what does freedom from self-obsession look like for me now? It looks like step one. You know, like it looks like I am powerless over my addiction, and part of my addiction is to be a defect remover. Like, like I would be lying to say that's not it. And so it's like that continual admission and elimination of reservations about that. Like I fortunately have not had like any thoughts about my drugs or alcohol inside my surrender. And I'm fucking lucky because I watch people struggling all the time. I've got some friends who just go out and I'm not knocking that journey for anybody, but I just feel insanely lucky. Or
Well,
not
yeah,
like, you know what? I know I am not lucky. I do I put a lot into my recovery. I think about it all the time, and I feel grateful, not lucky.
yeah,
That's it, And but for me, it's just about knowing that I can't control certain things.
yeah,
And that journey that I'm learning about surrender and about my will and about being able to give shit away. Like God, like our topic today, joyous and free. Like it makes me so joyous to be free of that self-obsession.
oh
Right there.
gosh, yeah.
And I'm going to leave that there because I don't really have anything else to say on that one. Does
Beautiful.
anybody else want to say anything before we close out? Other than that, I love both you guys excessively, and I'm eternally grateful to be here with
Yeah,
you.
I'm grateful too.
Me too.
I think it's really amazing when people can come into alignment and have lived so differently and have so many different variables in their lives and be able to meet in these concepts that have renewed and or given us a sense of freedom that we previously very willingly admit we did not have. Like that's pretty
Yeah.
That's pretty rad. To me, that's just another brilliant expression of the intelligence of whatever created this magic.
Mm-hmm.
It was all taken care of. There is a solution.
Shannon?
Yeah, I really enjoyed this time with you gentlemen, and I feel really full in it. And really it just dawned on me, like, the freedom that I have in life is that I'm the same person in every area of my life, right?
Nice. That's huge.
Yeah.
Obviously, when we're a little bit more funny, sarcastic, get out there, tailor that back in certain situations. But I'm not living a double life.
Mm-hmm.
I am me at my core in every aspect of my life. And that is such freedom. I'm not trying to manage, maneuver, or hide this addiction or, with people in recovery, I'm this way. With people who are normies, I'm this way because I'm, starting to lay the bricks on the road or whatever it is, like lay that path to a relapse, like that is no longer there. And that is true freedom. There's nothing that's come up for me since this commitment to my recovery where I've been like, this would be better if I was drinking.
Sure.
Ooh, nothing.
Yeah, that's huge.
Well, I love you guys. Thank you. And how about closing with a little serenity prayer?
Do it.
Sure.
God, grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And everybody out there, tune in next episode for more recovery fun. I love you. Please help us help others. If you like what you've seen here today, please subscribe and share this podcast and help us get to 100 followers. We're looking for interaction with our audience. So please email recoveryfreedomrising@gmail.com or contact Milan Starcic on Facebook with questions, topic suggestions, or just comments. We'd love to hear from you.